Red Wagon Farms. Today we are planting the last of our cornfields in the spring planting season of 2024. I have not did a video. A ton of people are asking me. I'll quickly do a video on planting corn, and I'm going to try to make this interesting for farmers and people that are not farmers as well. If you don't know, farmers can't just have one seed planter. They have planters for big seed like this, like corn seed and other items that are large like soybeans, and then they have planters for wheat and things like that, and that would be a grain drill, typically a grain drill or an air drill. So whenever you're talking drills, smaller seed. Whenever you're talking planters, large seed. So we plant on 30-inch rows, so we have a box of seed for each row. We do 6 rows, so all of our equipment needs to match 6 rows. So our combine head matches 6 rows, our row cultivator maxes 6 rows, our tire separation maxes 6 rows. Our dual wheels are actually designed to not run over a row. That space in there, that wide spacer in the dual wheel, will actually run right between a row, because we don't want to create compaction in the row, and we don't want to disturb the soil so that the press wheel can run on it correctly. I am going to quickly compare the famous John Deere 7000 series to the white 6000 series. Both famous planters, both very good planters. The reason I own a white now and not the John Deere is the white has an air system. There's air forced into this plate, and this plate is filled with kernels down on the bottom. They dump from the box, they come down here to the bottom, and as that air forces out, it'll push a seed in this cell. See that little hole there? There's like air coming through. It pops the seed in the cell. It gets up to here. It tickles off any extra seeds, because you only want 1 seed in a cell. It's called a tickle brush for those of you that are thinking about buying one of these. Then you get down here to the cutoff brush, and the cutoff brush cuts the air and drops the seed down in the tube. The John Deere system runs completely mechanical, and there's a lot of belts and different things in there, and they're very expensive to rebuild. You can rebuild one of these units for about 22 bucks. John Deere, you're looking at rebuilding one of their row units for maybe between $300 and $500, and it's very complex. It's like a lot of John Deere stuff that we find is way over engineered. It does work well, it's not real user friendly, and it's overbuilt. The disadvantage with these is you got to make sure you have the right size plate for the right size seed. You got to make sure you store these plates flat, because if they get warped, then it can be a problem. You got to make sure you shim them outright based on your brushes. That red thing is a plastic shim, so you kind of shim it out and make sure that it spins freely there. You also got to make sure that this setting is correct. This is the seed drop setting from here. You got to make sure that that's set at medium, because you want the seed flowing in there, and just putting a little seed at the bottom of the reel, the air picks it up and goes around. The gauge wheels are basically like John Deere's, but it is a little bit harder to work on these gauge wheels than it is a John Deere. This is a seed opener, double disc seed opener, true double disc. Seed drops in here. This is a press wheel. I don't like this press wheel system on this particular white planter, but that can be updated. I do prefer the V's. I just feel like they do a better job. For those of you that aren't into farming, this is what presses the soil down around the seed, and we can set the tension on that. The white planter is really heavy. The 6000 series is a lot heavier than the 5000 series. The 5000 series was a good planter. The white 6000 series is quite a bit better because of its weight. Dry fertilizer, there are some improvements over the John Deere on that. See these, I wish you could see them here. They have gauge numbers on here. They have these little bolts. You can loosen them, move them in and out, and it'll adjust the rate as well as the sprocket. So you can switch the sprockets on rate, but you can also adjust this. Here's the numbers. See them there? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it gives you a lot more control over your dry fertilizer. For those of you that aren't into farming, we take dry fertilizer, it's called a 2x2, and we drop it right next to the seed. 2 inches from the seed, that's what this wheel is, 2 inches to the side of the seed. The white, we have a lot more stuff going on, because we have separate arms with separate hydraulics. John Deere has a cable system which breaks all the time, which is a pain in the butt to fix. So Eli definitely gives this a double A compared to the John Deere. He was so sick of fixing that stupid cable system that broke. The disadvantage is we have more remotes we need. Okay, we have our electronics for our monitor, and we have a PTO pump that powers the air. I don't like a lot of stuff on a planter, but there is more stuff on the white planter because you're doing a lot more things. Let's jump in and I'll show you how she works. Now, this is a row shutoff unit. I'm not using it, I have it disengaged. This planter has it, they don't come with that, it was added. This is the monitor. I don't exactly understand this, but John Deere's monitor, all the lights turn off when the seed is dropping down the tube. And the white monitor, all the lights turn on when the seed is dropping down the tube. Now, each one of these lights right here that's going to go on, this represents a row unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if you can see that. They're numbered. It's pretty dusty in here. 2 is not going to turn on. The buzzard works, but it's not going to turn on because the light bulb's burnt out. Most farmers plant with GPS. We're planting with row units. That means I have to stay straight, follow that line down the hood with the line in the dirt. I'll quickly show you how that works for those of you that don't farm. Well, I'm trying to drive, so this ought to be interesting. When Eli combines this, I might hear about it. We're only running about 5, so now you can see the lights are going on. That represents the seed dropping down the tube. So there's a sensor in there. Every time a seed goes, that light goes. We're planting 27,200 seeds an acre right now. And we got to figure it out that close when you plant corn. This is a really little field, and it's kind of a pain in the neck because it's a lot of turnaround time. I don't know why. I made a little wash there at the end of my last row. I'm going to straighten that out. So with the white, you're on remote 1 to lift up, remote 2 to lift up your marker arms. The John Deere, with their cable system, you don't have to do that. Just lift the planter, flip it, dump it. So it is nice in that regards, but I told Eli it's not as nice, you know, when you're planting to not have that feature, but he told me he didn't care, he didn't want to fix it anymore, and he was sick of fixing it. So once again, I have 2 marker arms, lights on,